LOK Publishing presents A Prince's Errand, Book 1 of Tales of the Amulet. Chezarith's palace had sat on a mound, surrounded by beautiful gardens and hemmed by elegant crimson stone walls. But now the palace grounds were desolate. Spires of rock replaced trees, and grass was now sand. The palace walls were toppled, strewn across the ground in pieces. The mound was also destroyed, and in its place was an enormous crater. Faint, pale blue light shone from the bottom of the crater. Soon, Shemrenal appeared from a misty cloud, standing in the air and looking down. "What is he doing?" Dussel flinched. A glint of red shone beneath Shemrenal. Impossible. It couldn't be the amulet, could it? Scrambling, he dashed into the crater, skidding down its sides. As Dussel neared the crater's bottom, his fear was realized. His eyes widened as he gazed upon a white metal amulet on the crater's floor. The upper half of the amulet consisted of 7 curved petals surrounding an eye-shaped slit that held a large, faceted ruby as the iris. In the lower half of the amulet, 3 draconic talons extended downward, gripping a polished black sphere. Within the polished sphere, tiny bright flecks gleamed from 7 spirals. It was the weapon that had turned the tide of this millennium-long war. The Amulet of Draconic Control. "It can't be," Dussel groaned, dropping to his knees beside Shemrenal. He reached shaking hands toward the amulet, but before Dussel could grab it, Shemrenal spoke. "Unfortunately, the Amulet of Draconic Control still remains. But our enemy has been exiled. The Imruk Maksha succeeded." Still kneeling, Dussel braced one hand on the ground and turned toward Shemrenal. "But this will bring folly to us all." His voice shook with horror. Shemrenal gazed skyward. He looked young, as if in the prime of his life. His face was thin and his chin narrow. Pointed ears peeked from his blonde hair. Though he looked like an elf, Shemrenal wasn't elven. He was unique, the only one of his kind, a being composed of pure magic and life, inseparably connected. "You undoubtedly speak the truth, Dussel," Shemrenal said in a calm tone. His words were tender, a reflection of his kind, paternal nature. "I am glad you made it here first." "What?" Dussel cocked his head. Did Shemrenal not want the other leaders of the Alliance to know about the amulet? This wasn't what they had planned. It was meant to be sealed away with Chezarith, lost to all of Kalda forever. "You know the division among the leaders of the Kaldean Alliance, Dussel. Sealing the amulet with our enemy was the only compromise. But now," Shemrenal said with a sigh, finally turning from the sky. Dussel felt overwhelmed. One war was over, but would another conflict begin? Could the Amulet of Draconic Control sunder the Kaldean Alliance? "The elves fear its power," Shemrenal said, shaking his head. "They don't trust that humanity won't turn it against the other dragons. If Ylvina got her hands on it, she would destroy it. That act, however, would enrage Isilha and the other golden dragons. They see it as a symbol of victory, something to be revered." "What are you suggesting?" Dussel asked, wary of the answer. Shemrenal sucked in a deep breath, although he didn't need to breathe. The gesture was an emotional reflex. "You might not like what I have to say, Dussel. I've come to a decision by myself. Any attempt to decide its fate by democracy will only lead to division, and this world has seen enough war." He paused, and then sternly stared at Dussel. "You must take the amulet." A sudden pang of horror struck Dussel. That notion was traitorous. Why trust one man with such a thing?